good, Mike. Right on the bed. Yeah, go again. No.
Boxing experts have highlighted the most anticipated scenes from the upcoming Mike Tyson vs. Jake Paul fight, with Tyson facing off. In a recent press conference, experts have weighed in on the possible highlights from the upcoming fight in New York. The crowd was overwhelmingly in Tyson's favor, their cheers and applause creating a raucous atmosphere as Paul stepped onto the stage only to be met with a chorus of boos, while the former and disputed heavyweight champion was greeted like a conquering hero. At one point, a Jake Paul chant started in the fan zone, prompting an angry response from the problem child. Paul warned the crowd in New York to be quiet, adding that they should boo themselves. He compared the city to Mike Tyson, saying both were good 20 years ago, and then attacked the city further.
Hey, New York, shut the f*** up, New York. Hey, boo yourselves. Boo yourselves, New York. Hey, New York, New York, New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. You, New York. You. Dumbass Democratic City.
Despite Paul's numerous attempts to provoke Tyson during the press event, the boxing legend remained unshaken and resolutely indifferent. Paul taunted Tyson, accusing him of needing a menopause break to postpone the fight and questioning if his stomach was still bothering him. In response, Tyson casually replied that he felt much better now.
To go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy hurt? Your tummy hurt still?
I feel a lot better now. I feel a lot better.
Asked by the master of ceremonies whether he was really sick or just scared to fight, Paul Tyson quipped he was terrified upon meeting in person at the conclusion of the press conference. Tyson gave Paul to light-hearted shoves. The YouTuber-turned-boxer wasn't amused by the jest. Instead, he thumped his chest and retaliated with a serious glare. His expression unwaveringly stern. Paul looked tense during the press conference, and he had earlier in the evening threatened to kill Tyson. Paul expressed that while he loved and respected Mike Tyson, they were no longer friends. He declared that on November 15 he would knock Tyson out and show who the real winner was, calling Tyson old and stating that he would discipline him like a son.
That's why I love Mike, I respect him, but we're not friends anymore. Until November 15th, I'm knocking this motherfucker out, and we're gonna see who's dead. We will see who's dead. We will see who's dead, Mike. We will. We will.
Hey,
Mike, when you hear Jake Paul say, though, we're going to see who's dead, what does that do to you? Does that make you put yourself in the mindset of understanding that this young killer wants to take you out?
is he really a young killer?
Ahead of their boxing match later this year, Mike Tyson answered a question on Jake Paul's threat that in November he and Paul will meet in the ring, marking the former and disputed heavyweight champion's return to professional boxing after nearly 2 decades. His last fight ended with a 5-round retirement on his stool against Kevin McBride. Paul told Tyson that while everyone expected him to be knocked out, he planned to make history by putting Tyson to sleep. Instead, he acknowledged Tyson's claims that it would be his funeral and wake. But despite his respect for Tyson, Paul emphasized that they were no longer friends. He vowed to knock Tyson out and see who would actually be left standing.
People in my comments saying, look at his power, he's gonna get KO'd. People are yelling at me in the event. But what happens when I put this man to sleep? This is not a joke. He's saying that it's gonna be my funeral. He's saying it's gonna be my wake. He's gonna kill Jake Paul, all of these things. And that's why I love Mike, I respect him, but we're not friends anymore. Until November 15th, I'm knocking this motherfucker out.
During the press conference, host Ryan Clark asked Tyson how he felt hearing Jake Paul say we're going to see who's dead and whether it made him adopt a mindset of getting that this young killer wanted to take him out. Tyson responded perfectly, questioning, is he really a young killer? Tyson elaborated by pointing out that a YouTuber was about to fight the greatest fighter who ever lived. He allowed that Paul might have faced opponents with similar goals but stressed that the reality would be different this time. Tyson confidently stated that once he struck a punch, the fight would be over, and Paul would end up running.
To the fact, we got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter that ever lived.
Jake, when you...
Every time these fighters sit across from me and it's YouTuber, it's Disney Channel, all that shit, and then you end up on the fucking canvas and you'll see, it's gonna be no different here, I promise you that.
I mean, with people with the same intention, but the actuality, no. catch this guy, because he's going to be running around. But as soon as I catch this guy, it's going to be totally over.
Tyson also claimed he is fit to fight and that he has returned to training after being forced to down tools on his doctor's orders. Tyson commented on the fight, confirming that it was happening and that he was well prepared. He admitted facing a minor setback due to illness, but guaranteed that he had recovered and was feeling good. Tyson stated that he was prepared and would let his actions speak when the time came to fight.
It's happening. We're all here. All here.
How prepared are you to knock Jake Paul out?
I'm very prepared. I'm very prepared. I had a small adversity. I got sick, but I'm better.
On the other hand, a UFC legend has just leaked the amount of money Mike Tyson will earn for facing Jake Paul. The battle was originally scheduled for July 20th at Arlington, Texas's AT&T Stadium, but in June it was officially announced that the bout had been put on hold indefinitely. It was reported later that month that Tyson vs. Paul would take place on November 15th and be televised live on Netflix. In a statement by co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, Nisa Badarian said our team has worked diligently with all parties involved to reschedule this monumental fight to a date that ensures both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are fully prepared with equal training time, as well as allowing us to keep the event at AT&T Stadium in the midst of the Cowboys season. Badarian further added that we appreciate the outstanding dedication, collaboration, and flexibility of our partners at Netflix and AT&T Stadium. Paul vs. Tyson is the most cross-generational sporting event in history, and we are committed to providing fans worldwide with this unforgettable night of boxing live globally on Netflix. We look forward to seeing everyone on Friday, November 15th, for a showdown that will be talked about for generations to come. UFC fighter Henry Cejudo stated earlier this year that Tyson will get $20 million for taking on Paul during an appearance on his podcast with Kamaru Usman. So Cejudo said, "You know what? I respect Uncle Mike, but it obviously takes two to tango. I feel like there is probably a really good payday for Mike. He's probably going to wind up making close to about 20 meals, and he's about to turn 58 years old." Daniel Corm, a former UFC champion, stated that Paul and Tyson are in a no-win scenario. He said it might break you if he just beats on Mike Tyson. He's in a no-win situation. I don't know that he thought this one through as much as he probably should have been, because if you just go out there and you just beat out of Mike Tyson, everybody's going to be really mad at you. I mean really mad. As Jake Paul gears up for his November 15th bout on Netflix against heavyweight legend Mike Tyson, he set the stage with a bold assertion about his anticipated earnings from the event. "I'm here to make $40 million and knock out a legend," Paul said during Sunday's press conference at Fanatics Fest in New York City. Paul also trolled Mike Tyson by making disparaging comments about his native New York City at Sunday's event. Paul embraced the spotlight, fueling the cheers from the New York City audience with his bold claims that he would stun the world when he and Tyson face off in the ring. Meanwhile, Tyson maintained a relaxed demeanor while responding to questions posed by ESPN analyst Ryan Clark, who moderated the press conference during their face. The former heavyweight champion even indulged in a light-hearted shove towards Paul when asked why he would agree to a fight against Paul despite their 30-year age difference. Tyson responded, "Because I can. Who else can do it but me? Who else is he going to fight to make this happen? We just got to listen to the fact we got a YouTuber fighting the best fighter that has ever lived." Following the press presentation on X, Paul wrote that when the two enter the ring in November, he will give Tyson his end. Tyson and Paul were set to clash on July 20th, but the 58-year-old had to pull out because of a troublesome ulcer flare-up in his place. Paul stepped into the ring with bare-knuckle fighting championship standout Mike Perry, securing a victory by 6th-round TKO and elevating his professional record to 10. The 27-year-old is convinced that stepping into the ring with Tyson is a crucial step toward achieving his dream of becoming a boxing champion. Although many may be skeptical of Paul's chances, his skill to attract a massive audience remains undeniable. The November bout promises to be as captivating as ever. What comes to mind when you picture Mike Tyson in the ring is his explosive power and relentless aggression, a whirlwind of punches that defies age or time away from the sport. This is exactly why Tim Bradley places his trust in Tyson to deliver a knockout victory as the American icon steps into the ring with Jake Paul. The fight has ignited fierce debate among fans, with many questioning the wisdom of having Tyson, whose age and reflexes are seen as declining, battle a much younger adversary. Concerns have been compounded by recent setbacks for Iron Mike, including a flight incident and an ulcer flare-up. Despite these worries, Bradley at 40 holds a contrary view, saying Tyson has the potential to secure a victory reminiscent of his prime years. What's behind this bold statement? In a recent chat with Pro Box TV, Bradley suggested that a 2-minute round would give the former heavyweight champ a chance to unleash his full fury. Tyson, with a record of 506, could have Paul, who stands at 101, pinned against the ropes, delivering punishing body shots and overwhelming him with sheer power. He said Mike Tyson has the potential to knock this man out. You know that the power is the last thing that leaves you. This is Mike Tyson. We're talking about 2 minutes, that's all it takes. He can get the knockout, knock Disney boy the hell out. Although many have Tyson emerging victorious in their predictions, there's a palpable concern about the possibility of him facing a knockout defeat. The former champion appears significantly diminished from his prime with complications such as sciatica hip surgery. The challenges of maintaining stamina for a professional bout doubts inevitably arise. UFC star Michael Chandler shares this apprehension. Imagine if Bradley's prediction were turned upside down. Chandler, at 38, stepped back from analyzing the problem child's final bout with Mike Perry, where he had a 20-pound weight advantage and stood nearly 4 inches taller than his opponent. He told Lucky Now it's Mike Tyson, who is 30 years older. Mike Tyson's about 60, and Jake's about 30. I love Mike Tyson. Nobody wants to see Mike Tyson get knocked out, but everybody wants to see Mike Tyson catch Jake Paul and knock him out. The UFC fighter has gained insight from watching Nate Diaz and Ben Askren fall to Paul. Could Tyson face a similar outcome? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, we know that Teddy Atlas guided the growth of a young Mike Tyson, assisting in the transformation of the 58-year-old into the contemporary boxing hero. The 68-year-old has ignored Iron Mike when it comes to mentioning the best talent he has ever collaborated with. Tyson and Atlas began working together early in Tyson's career, with the coach supervising his growth from the ages of 12 to 15. He has also collaborated with well-known people, including Shannon Briggs, Tim Bradley and Michael Moore. However, Atlas, in his conversation with The Ring, has shifted his focus away from Tyson and the other 3 men, choosing instead to herald Wilford Bennett as his standout talent. He said, "Sometimes you go to the Academy Awards and one movie wins all the awards. What are you going to do that would be Bonnett's? Anyone who could beat Roberto Duran amongst many other great fighters. That's a pretty good record. I would say Bonnett's overall was the package. After dominating the heavyweight class during his heyday, he was a special fighter. Tyson is maybe the best heavyweight of his time, but going forward, it will be fascinating to watch how the veteran does when he returns to the ring as the fight between Tyson and Paul scheduled for November 15th draws nearer. The 2 fighters will square off at a news conference on Sunday. In a recent interview, he declared that he was feeling powerful and promised to defeat Paul when they finally square up in the ring. He said, "I'm looking forward to facing off with Jake Paul at Fanatics Fest in NYC. The countdown is back on. I'm feeling fantastic and looking forward to knocking out Jake Paul on Netflix on Friday, November 15th, at AT&T Stadium in Texas." Paul, who is 27 years old, describes his battle with Tyson as a dream come true. However, he does not intend to ease up on his hero. Paul has promised him that it will be a nightmare for the seasoned warrior. He said after eating Mike Perry as an appetizer, "I'm ready to go for the main on Friday, November 15th, to fight the biggest, baddest fighter ever. It's a dream come true for me, but it will be a nightmare for Mike Tyson. It's cool to be featured at Fanatics Fest alongside some of the biggest names in sports, and I look forward to delivering a show the fans won't forget on Friday, November 15th. After a 19-year hiatus, Tyson's return to the ring underscored his focus on personal and professional interests, while Paul seemed to have let his enthusiasm get the better of him, prompting fans to question whether he's exposing too much vulnerability despite his recent victory over Mike Perry as the highly anticipated bout against Tyson draws closer. Paul might be feeling the weight of facing an icon. When Tyson entered the press conference, he was met with a thunderous ovation, while Paul chose to confront the audience with a more defiant attitude. Paul, in a belligerent mood, bristled at the pro-Tyson reception and told the crowd repeatedly to shut up in comments that Bell, his otherwise confident attitude, the problem child, an admitted supporter of former president and longtime NYC resident Donald Trump, went on to call New York a democratic city in reference to its long-standing reputation as a left-leaning city politically. Tyson, a former heavyweight champion known as the baddest man on the planet, reveled in the admiration from the crowd and would not get drawn into Paul's combative rhetoric. Mike kept his words simple, telling Paul he was going to discipline him like a son when they meet in the ring this November.
I've been training for a while, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I'm just asking when you get into camp.
I'm okay to fight.
But when you get into camp, like when?
I'm in camp right now.
Very good, thank you.
I'm in camp right now.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Soon as I catch this guy, 'cause it's gonna be running around, but as soon as I catch this guy, it's gonna be totally over.
Meanwhile, Jake Paul drew a bizarre comparison between himself and Muhammad Ali while simultaneously throwing death threats at Mike Tyson during a ludicrous press conference that ended in a fall-shoving match in New York. We will see who's dead. Mike, the YouTuber turned fighter, told Tyson ahead of their rescheduling fight in Texas on November 15. Paul ridiculed the former world heavyweight champion for his required menopause break, but the 58-year-old fighter is undeterred. He asserts that he's been training hard in the gym for weeks and is prepared to take on an opponent 3 decades younger than him. The title of the baddest man on the planet might be a throwback to his last professional bout in 2005, but Mike Tyson's legendary status was alive and kicking as he was celebrated with a hero's welcome at Fanatics Fest NYC in Manhattan. Hailing from Brooklyn just across the East River, Tyson's appearance electrified the raucous crowd, proving that his impact remains as potent as ever. Tyson continues to capitalize with his dynamic presence, and his arrival in New York attracted a massive throng. Yet in the realm of fight promotion, he chose to let Paul handle the heavy lifting. At 58 years old, he brushed aside numerous chances to badmouth his rival, instead responding with mostly incoherent and half-hearted remarks. Tyson eventually issued a warning to Paul, stating that the fight would be long and punishing. He insisted that he was going to end him and advised Paul to be in good shape, emphasizing that his health depended on it. Be in good shape. When the two got face-to-face, the 58-year-old started an unconvincing shoving match just moments before Paul, boasting a record of 10 victories out of 11 professional bouts. Boldly declared that the skeptics and challengers he's encountered in the ring have forged him into the contemporary equivalent of Muhammad Ali. Paul said, "I'm the anti-hero. People will love me soon enough when you're at the top. People are trying to pull you down. That's the way the game goes. He's vicious. He's a killer. I know all these things, but I will prove all the haters wrong." Meanwhile, British fighter Alloys expressed concerns that Mike Tyson's fight with Jake Paul could be stopped due to health issues. With Paul being significantly younger, there are fears that Tyson might suffer a serious injury during the match. Jr. shared with TalkSport that he believes the fight might be halted to avoid any potential complications. He expressed, "I think he may get stopped. To be honest with you, he is just too old. Your body has declined too much at that age. His boxing legacy will suffer if he is halted in such a manner by Jake Paul. I wouldn't want to see that at all, but who knows? He was one of my idols. If the fight ever happens, we don't know. I just wouldn't like to see that." Tyson, Fury, brimming with confidence, predicts that Tyson will decisively defeat Jake Paul in their upcoming fight, drawing inspiration from the legendary Mike Tyson. Fury is resolute in his belief that the former champion will secure a win. Red Fury passionately claimed that when Tyson throws a punch, age is irrelevant because his knockout power remains formidable. Fury showed his steadfast support for Tyson by emphasizing his dedication to back him in the fight against Paul. He pointed out that sharing a name with the boxing legend compels him to support Tyson fully. Fury also noted that Tyson has consistently been a source of support for him, reinforcing his commitment to Mike and hoping for a decisive knockout.
If Mike Tyson hits anybody, I don't care if he's 90, he's going to knock him out cold, isn't he? If I am Mike Tyson, obviously I have to back Mike Tyson. I'm named after the legend, and I back him. He always backs me. I'm backing Mike for the knockout. Come on, Mike!
The upcoming fight has divided the boxing community, with many voicing concerns about Tyson's safety. Despite this, Paul remains undaunted and is eager to challenge the 58-year-old. After beating Perry, he said he's tough as nails. "I'm sorry it took so long. Respect to Mike Perry. He's the king of violence. He's the BKFC winner. I hit too hard. He took a lot of damage. And that's it for me. I expected that, but I did put him down in the first round. He just survived. Mike Tyson, your next big boy, signed a deal." Paul spoke with deep respect for Mike Tyson, praising him as a towering figure in boxing on par with legends like Ali. He expressed the extraordinary honor he felt at the prospect of fighting Tyson while firmly declaring his determination to claim Tyson's title. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, former and disputed heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated fight between Mike Tyson and Jake. Paul Klitschko described the bout as extraordinary, highlighting the stark contrast between Tyson, a respected veteran of the sport, and Paul, a younger, ambitious YouTuber with notable boxing skills. He saw the matchup as a significant source of inspiration not only for Tyson but also for others in his own generation and expressed his excitement about seeing how the fight unfolds.
Tyson at 58 years old, what do you think of this fight?
Well, that's also outstanding as this fight in Riyadh. Mike Tyson at his age is facing a YouTuber that is much younger and hungry and capable of boxing as well. So it's going to be a good example for people that are at Mike's age.
Yeah.
It's also actually a good example for me to keep on punching, so to speak. Hopefully, I look forward to that match.
He heard a murmur suggesting that Tyson's age was viewed by many as a limitation for continuing his career. However, Klitschko challenged this viewpoint, arguing that age is merely a mental construct, a self-imposed barrier. He thinks that mastering the mind could help overcome any challenge. Klitschko urged everyone to view age as just a mental obstacle and to continue relentlessly regardless of the number of years.
How do you think that fight goes? A lot is being made that, Mike Tyson might be too old for Jake Paul. Obviously, like you mentioned, Jake Paul's coming from a YouTube background. Do you think he's too old? Do you think Mike will still get the knockout?
You can only be too old in your mind.
Yeah.
If you control your mind, you control everything in your life.
Wow, that's great advice. And just final one from me. Like you said, Mike Tyson still fighting might be a little bit of a lesson to you as well. Is there any potential of a comeback in with a lot of people coming back?
There is no comeback in the sport.
Yeah.
I've been asked about Last Dance.
Anthony Taylor, who has previously faced Jake Paul, is now preparing for a bout with the legendary Iron Mike Tyson, with growing concerns about Tyson's health surrounding their upcoming match. Taylor is advising Tyson to rethink his participation, similar to the cautious choice KSI made to protect his own well-being. He said Mike Tyson is a lamb to the slaughter. He should follow KSI and save himself a concussion against Jake Paul. Mike Tyson needs to take a leaf out of KSIS's book and pull out of his fight against Jake Paul. I've worked with Jake behind the scenes, and trust me, you haven't seen what he's capable of. Tyson is a lamb to a slaughter. However, a new training video has emerged showing Mike Tyson's intense preparation for his upcoming fight against Jake Paul.
Yes.
At 58, Tyson keeps extraordinary speed. Remarkably, his hand speed surpasses that of current world winners like Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Terrence Crawford. How does a legendary figure like Mike Tyson keep such exceptional hand speed that even today's top athletes struggle to match? Tyson's unique combination of speed and power sets a benchmark that many current heavyweight champions strive to reach. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen.